with the decision of the Electoral Commission there. But the governing MPP seems to agree with the EC. Former National Chair Peter McMenu says the party has withdrawn its agent from the exercise.
In the law, we have to talk what the CI says. Under the CI, voter registration, political parties are allowed to bring agents. But under the law, transfer of votes, no room is made for agents. It was IPAC itself that decided last week or so that in the interest of transparency, we should allow party agents to observe the process. However, the EC feels that what has transpired at the various stations, the agents have caused some form of commotion which has led to violence. So they have decided that political parties must withdraw their agents to allow peace prevail. And for us, as a party, MPP, we think that coming events cast their shadows. So what has transpired was not a good thing, and that the EC, in their wisdom and with the authority vested in them under the Constitution, decided that we should withdraw the agents. We abide by it. We will abide by it in the interest of peace and tranquility in our electoral process. As far as the students' matter is concerned, there was no definitive resolution. So the EC is going backwards into their rooms and have further tete-a-tete to be able to decide. No. Whether, because you see, there were two contentious issues. Whether students who registered in 2023 or students who have just registered in 2024 and believe that by December they may not be on campuses. The CI 127-22-2 gives meaning to that. Some people doubted that is the true meaning. So we leave it. We thought that the sub-regulation 2 under the 22 said, despite that is despite number 1, students and security officers may transfer their votes.
You had the former national chairman of the MPP, Peter McMenu, speaking to journalists after that emergency IPAC meeting called by the Electoral Commission. Let's get some more on this. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of Elections and IT with the opposition NDC. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Mr. Computer. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I say good evening. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for asking and thank you for joining us. Now, we want to find out from you. We read a statement issued by the General Secretary of the party. You've gone for an IPAC meeting. We heard Dr. Manebwama telling us that the party does still not agree with this posture of the EC. He also told us that the Electoral Commission had agreed that there would be some sort of deliberation on it, and then the parties will be informed as regards the way forward regarding this very decision. Have you heard anything so far from the EC, or has there been any date giving you regarding when the commission is giving you information on this decision?
Well, when we ended the IPAC meeting, they indicated they will get back to us. It could be within 24 hours or 48 hours. So we are keeping our fingers crossed. We are monitoring the situation. But as my boss rightly indicated, we have asked our agents not to move away from the centers. Our agents should be there. They should always be around to monitor and observe the transfers. In fact, we are not leaving any stone unturned. We are there to make sure that the sanctity of our electoral process is upheld. Can you imagine leaving the whole process in the hands of a returning officer to determine who qualifies to be transferred? I mean, that would be absurd. We are not going to allow that.
Mrs. Computer, what would you say to those who would argue that the NDC perhaps is being unnecessarily difficult because you're not the only party in this exercise? MPP is involved, other minor parties are also involved. And the main or the governing party has decided, well, since EC is saying this, we are withdrawing our agents from the exercise, but you're still insisting you're not doing so.
Respectfully, EC and MPP are the same body.
Electoral Commission is an electoral management body. MPP is a political party.
Yes, they have staffed the Electoral Commission with their activists. You want me to give you better particulars that I'm talking about? They have the commissioners. You have Apia Hine. Who doesn't know that Apia Hine is an MPP guy who was representing MPP as their IT director for Bono region? We've spoken about this copious. We wrote against it. But the guy is sitting there as a commissioner. There are several of them in there. And that's why the MPP feel comfortable when MPP, this Electoral Commission is doing something. They don't care. After all, they know that they are being properly represented. Otherwise, when we're attacking the Electoral Commission about the fake figures and the wrong figures they were chaining up, why was the MPP silent about it? These are some of the things they do. And so for them, when we are talking about issues like that, it's a contest between NDC and EC.
But Mrs. Zanko,
and that is what we are working towards.
You would admit that the NDC has this posture because you have trust issues.
Of course, I've given
and
you
not necessarily because
reasons.
the Electoral Commission has not tried its best to try to let you know that going into 2024 general election, there's going to be transparency and there's going to be free and fair exercise. But the NDC still has trust issues.
Yes, we will have trust issues. 29th of May, we had IPAC meeting where we saw a lacuna in CI 127 over the transfers. Because the lacuna is that the CI is silent about agents monitoring or observing the process. It's silent. It's very silent about it. So at the IPAC meeting, presided over by Mrs. Jean Mensah herself, we all agreed that we should have agents to plug that loophole. And that's why we all got. They were there, MPP, they were there. All of them were seated there. We all agree. It does not injure the CI. So we agreed only for yesterday for EC to beat a retreat by coming out with a memo saying that agents should not be allowed at the process, knowing very well that today we're going to have an IPAC meeting. If you are a stakeholder, this group, will you trust them?
I know, just to wrap up our conversation, I know that Dr. Manebo said you're still keeping your agents there. You seem to have confirmed it to us as well. But do you have any timelines as to when you're expecting the Electoral Commission to come out with its decision on this very directive you're against?
Very well. We are very clear in our mind that we are not moving our agents away from the centers. And we told them today, even at the IPAC, we didn't mince words. We told them that, look, you go back and take your decision, reverse that decision that you have taken, because we are not going to go back and ask our agents to move away from the place, because your own posturing does not engender us to trust whatever you are doing. You know it.
We'll have to end it here.
That is it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, Deputy Director of Elections and IT with the opposition NDC.
Beatrice, let's see a bit further on this matter, because the other persons who were in this same meeting, the IPAC meeting earlier today, we're talking about is the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, and Ms. Albert Ahin is National Coordinator, is joining us on the telephone. Ms. Ahin, I appreciate your time. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Thank you, but good evening to your listeners.
You sat through the Commission's meeting today, the IPAC meeting today. What were the reasons given for the decision to have the political parties withdraw their agents from the registration centers?
Thank you. The EC, in fact, during the last IPAC, there was a consensus that the EC was going to allow the parties to send observers for the transfer of votes. Let me say that this is normally not done. In fact, it has never been done before. But I believe that the EC was trying to be magnanimous, to be transparent, to a very large extent. That was the intention I saw. And the excuse or the reason for asking the agents to be withdrawn today was the fact that putting their head on the ground, they are getting information from a lot of sources that a thing is being abused, allowing the observers to go and see what's going on at the transfer areas was being abused. And they are afraid if they are not careful, it might turn into something else. So there and then they gave the directive that all parties are to withdraw their agents from the various centers. That was what happened.
Well, and you hear the NDC say, well, the NPP, well, they've agreed that they're going to do as the commission has directed. The NDC says, no, it's not going to happen. And you get the sense that their position they've taken to not go by this directive by the Electoral Commission is primarily underpinned by some mistrust, is it not? That lack of trust that we've been talking about all the while, because they talk about a document that they have that, as it were, details a plan by the MPP to have specific constituencies having some transferred votes going there, which they are not supposed to be. So some illegality they say they have identified. That's concerning, to say the least, is it not?
I think what I got from the representative of the NDC was that they have some information, some intelligence has come to them about some constituencies, but they named the constituencies. I'm sorry I couldn't even write all of them. They have this information that there are certain figures that they quoted that the NPP was going to make sure a certain number of transfers were made into those constituencies. And so they were acting on intelligence. So if we are talking about mistrust, it is based on the fact that they've actually produced, it was written from a document that they have that information. And I believe that must have informed them to take the decision they are trying to take. And the EC is also saying that they gave them that opportunity to extend the transparency, equity, whatever. And so they won't sit down for it to be abused. And they cited, two instances, one from, I think, either Tongabo region or some other region, and then the latest one on the Kasua one, that somebody had been stabbed. So the way it is going, if they are not careful, it will turn into something else. So they are withdrawing. They should withdraw all their agents. So that is what actually happened.
But, Ms. Ayin, take into consideration the fact that, and it is indeed the case, that the law does not state anywhere that the political parties should have their agents monitoring the transfer of votes process, in at least what we have seen in the law. But then again, you also have, in the spirit of transparency, as you indicated, the Electoral Commission, in its own magnanimity, wanting to have the political parties monitor this. Now, how can some level of middle grounds be achieved so that in that same spirit they would be applying the law but also not deepening the sense of mistrust that we are seeing? Because the NDC has raised this concern, and on the basis of that, as you indicated, they provided some constituencies that they have information that something is going to happen. When they said this at the IPAC meeting, what was the response of the Electoral Commission? Did they give any sense of assurance to them that this will not happen?
Only for the assurance. They said it again and again and again. They gave assurance that there's nothing untoward that they would do, and that they are going to be as transparent as ever. And they even emphasize the fact that, for the fact that it is not even in the law, they have allowed them to go and do it, shows the extent to which they can be magnanimous in granting this wish. You see, I myself was surprised when I got there, because it has never happened in any transfer of votes that you send people there as observers. It has never happened. That is the first time, and look at what has happened. So, my personal view is that the way this thing is going, either the Peace Council can come in and talk to both parties so that peace can prevail, or if we forget about this and let this thing continue, we are not going to have a smooth transfer of goods. And in fact, it is sending a bad signal to this year's election from the way it has started. It is sending a bad signal. The NDC has vowed that they will never remove their agents from the center. And the EC is saying that they should remove them. So who has the authority? I know it's the EC that has the authority. So what is going to happen? Are they going to remove them by force from these centers? So some kind of mediation. And I think the CSOs, the Peace Council, and some other organizations should come in here to mediate, because the way it is going, I don't think it's going to augur well for all of us. It doesn't sound good for a peaceful election this year.
So you expect an immediate mediation intervention to ensure that this does not degenerate?
Mediation, because I was at the meeting and I saw the reaction and the way the NDC was talking. They were serious. And it's the mistrust we are talking about. You see, in the first place, I can't even imagine how you can send observers to watch a transfer. I don't know. You see, and when you talk about it, it boils down to the mistrust that you are talking about. Yes, the EC has been magnanimous. They've given them the chance. So it's for the party to hold this and cherish it, and make sure that this thing is protected. The agents should be talked to. Probably they can withdraw those agents who are misbehaving, or they are being recasted on both sides. And I think the security forces should also make sure that they stamp the authority on the sentence so that the sanity can prevail. Otherwise, you're going to have a very chaotic transfer. We haven't gone anywhere in this election. Look at what is happening at this early stage. And it doesn't bode well for the conduct of this year's election.
Zion, I appreciate your time and your expertise on this matter, having managed elections in this country for all the while. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, my brother, for having me.
Abedahien is the national coordinator of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO. He was at that IPAC meeting as well, and he said something quite instructive there, that if this is not addressed immediately, it could degenerate into something else, and an immediate mediation intervention is needed from the National Peace Council and the others.
There's a lot he's not saying, which is probably the atmosphere that was there and how the disagreements were even expressed, and therefore the need for us to have the Peace Council come in to deal with this before it degenerates, and the concern that it's early days yet. You haven't even gone into the main election, and this is what you're facing. Sounds quite alarming.
And we'll see how the coming days will look like, especially because of the NDC's position on this, that even though the Electoral Commission has directed political parties to withdraw their agents, they have defied that order. They would have their agents monitor this process for as long as it goes on. And away from that, the minority in Parliament has expressed serious concerns about the government's decision to award a 5G licensing contract to NextGen Infraco, a single-purpose vehicle company set up just a week prior to cabinet approval of the said contract. Now, we've been monitoring this quite closely since last Thursday when the Communications and Digitalization Minister, also Kufuor, addressed the press on this matter. According to the minority, the deal lacks transparency and does not serve the country's best interests. In a statement issued today, the minority leader, Dr. Kesela Tuforsen, pointed out that the deal also lacks value for money and the requisite parliamentary approval. The minority MPs vow to oppose the deal and ensure the right thing is done. Now, we've got the statement for you, and Beatrice is going to run through excerpts of it, as was issued by the minority earlier today.
Indeed. NDC is titled, NDC Minority Kicks Against Opaque 5G Spectrum Deal, and is signed by the minority leader. There are about 6 major points in this 4-page document issued by the minority. And it says the minority caucus in Parliament has noted with grave concern the decision by the Akufo-Addo government to give away Ghana's 5G spectrum to a shadowy entity, NextGen Infraco Company Limited, for the next 10 to 15 years. Under this deal, NextGen Infraco Limited has been given the exclusive right to build, own, and operate the entire 5G infrastructure network across the country for the use of all mobile network operators, internet service providers, and other interested entities. So the 6 pointers I talked about, it says there is lack of value for money in it. And I'll just read a few lines under this subtopic. It says, conservative analysis shows that the state could have generated up to $400 million to $500 million upfront if the government had opted for a more competitive process. The revenue could have been channeled into critical development projects in this time of economic bankruptcy and excruciating hardships. The next point the minority leader makes is the whole deal is unfair monopoly and exclusivity. It says the opaque work and pay, that's in quote, 5G agreement will ensure that NextGen Infraco would be the only company to offer wholesale 5G mobile data and voice services in the country for a period of 10 years, and says all existing mobile network operators, MTN, AT, Telecel, and internet service providers in the country cannot offer data and voice services to their numerous customers nationwide without passing through NextGen Infraco. So that's where it talks about the unfair monopoly and exclusivity. The third point the minority leader makes is absence of parliamentary approval. And it says this 5G spectrum transaction awarded to NextGen Infraco Limited is a multi-year contract, hence subject to parliamentary approval per Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, that's Act 921. Now, when you go to point 4, it says some of the entities in the consortium which are the beneficiaries of this opaque transaction are mushroom entities owned by cronies of President Akufo-Addo and the Minister for Communications with questionable track records. The fifth point, it says the regulatory framework and operational modalities and guidelines for this opaque arrangement have been clearly defined by the Akufo-Addo government, which appears to be in an indecent haste to give away the country's 5G spectrum for a pittance. And the sixth point made by the minority before signing off this statement is that the investment that this consortium is expected to make to justify their humongous 63% stake in Ghana's 5G network services revenue has also not been clearly defined. And the minority leader ends with this paragraph that the NDC Minority Caucus has therefore flagged this transaction for eagle-eye scrutiny. In the coming days, we shall be addressing the media and by extension the Ghanaian people on these vexed matters and collaborate with other stakeholders to ensure that our national interest is upheld. Like I told you, this is signed by the minority leader, Kaisel Atto-Forsing, obviously expressing concern, or should I say disagreement, with this 5G spectrum deal given to NextGen Infraco Limited.
I see. So while we are at it, and this is Nelson Roxon Dafempo, who is a member of Parliament for the South Dike constituency. He's a member of the Public Accounts Committee, and he spoke to me earlier, indicated that they, as a committee, have taken interest in this matter, and they're going to look into it.
Committee, so I had no idea at all. Now, I was also shocked by the content of the statement put out by the minister on the 11th of May this year. And if you read the content of the statement, it should scandalize every economic-minded person. Why? The minister is telling us that the government has, by a deliberate policy, breaking MTN's monopoly. And then you proceed to create another monopoly. How do you break a monopoly by creating another monopoly? It's contained in the statement. And let me read. Paragraph 1, line 3. It will be provided exclusively to a local carrier, neutral open access technology company to build a nationwide mobile broadband network for the use of all network providers and interested entities. Now, if you go to paragraph 4, Next Gen Franco will be a wholesale. This is too small. If you can put, that.
So that's Nelson Roxon Dafiamepo there. He's a member of parliament for the South Dyke constituency. He's a member of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament on the back of what the minority statement on this Next Gen Infraco deal is. And it's something that we're going to keep an eye on as well, and we're knocking on the doors of the Communications Committee of Parliament to get some more responses on this. But it's some 24 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Your thoughts, views, comments and opinions are welcome on the issues that we've been talking about so far here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. There's one that we're getting into right now, which has got lots of persons concerned and worried about what is happening at the Bank of Ghana. You probably may have heard, but if you haven't, the Bank of Ghana has posted 10.5 billion cedis in losses for the 2023 financial year. Now, the loss, according to the central bank, was mainly due to a substantial increase in total interest expenses on open market operations. Now, the amount is a substantial improvement on, according to the Bank of Ghana, just reading this from their statement, an improvement on the 60 billion cedis record of the losses that they put in their financial statement in 2022. Of interest, however, is a continuous increase in travel cost and personnel cost, amongst others. I'm going to run you through some of the details as we've gleaned. In 2021, the Bank of Ghana reported a profit of 1.23 billion cedis. However, the following year has brought challenges with consecutive losses. In 2022, the bank posted a loss of 60.8 billion cedis. And in 2023, we're talking about a loss of about 10.58 billion cedis, according to the recent financial statement released on May 31. Also, in 2021, the bank's average monthly remuneration per worker stood at 47,667 Ghana cedis, with a total of 2,203 workers. Now, this figure increased to 60,972 Ghana cedis per worker in 2022, with a total of 2,215 workers. By 2023, the average further rose to 72,736 Ghana cedis per worker, with a total of 2,246 workers. Now, the Bank of Ghana's travel expenses, and take note of this, amounted to 28.17 million Ghana cedis in 2021. The following year, in 2022, these expenses experienced a substantial increase, reaching 76 million Ghana cedis from 28 million cedis. Almost 50 million cedis increase within one financial year. An outstanding growth rate of 169.75%. Now, in 2023, the travel expenses continued to rise to 103.3 million Ghana cedis, with a growth of about 35.92%. In 2021, the Bank of Ghana spent 61.5 million cedis on vehicle maintenance. The subsequent year, we saw an increase, significant, for about 131 million cedis on maintenance of vehicles, a growth of 113.82%. Now, all of this raises fundamental questions about what exactly is going on at the Bank of Ghana. Professor John Gachi, who is a financial economist and an expert in banking analysis, also the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, is joining us on the telephone. Gachi, appreciate your time on Hot Edition. First of all, that's the Bank of Ghana's explanation for this over 10.5 billion cedis loss. they say is due to expenditure incurred as a result of open market operations. Does it suffice in any way?
Well, it may be true that they have expenditure relating to open market operations, but this is not the first time they are engaging in open market operations. And for that matter, this financial this thing that you are talking about cannot be exceptional. So that explanation cannot be tenable. If you look at the books, you realize that there are other expenses that actually occasion the loss. So the loss is as a result of operations, and some of them are coming as a result of high expenditure relating to other activities.
And which other activities, let's get into that. Which other activities indeed, from your analysis, has contributed to this loss that we're talking about and cannot be singularly placed on open market operations as the Bank of Ghana is talking about?
Yes, you if you look at the financial statement, you realize that the expenses that Bank of Ghana incurs is not only related to open market operations. So you cannot single out open market operations and say that that is the reason why you are incurring, losses. That's the point I'm making. There are various items of expenses relating to the internal management issues, expenses relating to board management, expenses relating to, car maintenance, a whole lot of things. So those put together, that caused the loss. And of course, if you have made so much revenue, then the loss would have been accommodated. So it's also coming on the account of lowering of revenue for the bank.
I see, and I'm looking at this, and one other issue that comes up as well is the travel expenses. I mean, and we've seen a significant increase in travel expenses over the last at least 2 to 3 years. I mean, really, if in 2021 you see travel expenses of 61 million cedis, and the next year it goes up almost a double, in fact, more than 100%. We see 169% increase to 131 million cedis. How can this be explained away by the Bank of Ghana, indicating that, well, they've had a lot more commitment to travels?
Well, I think that question goes to the heart of the mandate of Bank of Ghana. You know, the Bank of Ghana is supposed to manage the currency, and it's supposed to ensure that we have lower inflation. The Bank of Ghana is supposed to ensure that we have accommodated level of interest rate. So if, for example, the exchange rate is, let's say, 6 cedis in 2021, but the exchange rate in 2023 is around 12 cedis or 11 cedis, then definitely the exchange rate alone has increased the level of expenses for travel, because most of the travels they get per diem in dollars, and also they get they pay their plane tickets, etc. All those things are influenced by exchange rate development. So when the Bank of Ghana fails to manage the exchange rate properly, it reflects on its own expenses.
And is it not concerning that you'd have them engage in all these travels and be paying per diems to themselves in dollars and contributing to this consistent, very considerable increase in travel expenditure?
I think we also need to look at what is the program for Bank of Ghana, what have been approved to be the working amount for staff when they are traveling, and the level of staff when they do travel. So I think for the Bank of Ghana staff, perhaps they have not done anything out of place when they travel, because they only apply for what is in existence and they give them. It's only when we look at the nature of travel for the key officers and we realize that the travel is not so important, but they engage in it, then we can question them on that. So it all depends on what has been approved for them and what they are using.
I mean, until 3 years ago, the central bank was posting profits. For the last 3 years at least, we've monitored consistent losses posted by the central bank.
Your voice is low. If you can raise up your voice a little bit.
Hello, Professor Gachi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. I was saying that at least from 2020 until 2021, the Bank of Ghana was posting profits. Between 2022 and 2023, we've seen continuous losses from over 60 billion to now 10.5 billion on the average. What, in your view and your analysis, is underlying this, at least the two losses we've seen between these 2 years from the Bank of Ghana?
I mean, the losses are largely due to the effect of DDEP, because the Bank of Ghana is known to be making its revenue from interest income. And Bank of Ghana has lent, I think, to the tune of 48 billion or so to the government of Ghana. The interest on that alone it should be huge on the revenue side of the books. But all that has been wiped away. So that creates a big hole in terms of revenue for the bank, and therefore occasion the losses. You know, as those things were going on, the travels, all those expenses we're talking about did not stop, was still going on. So you are incurring the same level or more level of expenditure, but your revenue base has been wiped away. That is what actually happened to Bank of Ghana.
And at this point, would you consider that call by Toby Alfred the 14th, the Bogbemefia of the Asogli State, that the Bank of Ghana, based on what we're seeing right now, needs some serious restructuring in order to be able to stay relevant?
Of course, Bank of Ghana needs internal restructuring, and that should be done as a matter of seriousness to ensure that some of those expenses are not incurred. If Bank of Ghana is going to incur expenses, they are expenses that are productive and linked to their work. We need to reform the Bank of Ghana to ensure that the over-interference by the political class that is happening currently is minimized or controlled. So the call for reform by the Bank of Ghana is very important, and that must be done. And nobody should be there thinking that everything is well with Bank of Ghana. We are watchers of what happens in the Bank of Ghana. We do know that there are endemic problems that they need to, resolve. In fact, Bank of Ghana has employed a number of people over the years, but the key and technical areas of Bank of Ghana still lack, very qualified personnel to do the work. So it means that the employment that is being done is highly influenced by a political class, and therefore, pay attention to what the Bank of Ghana needs to operate is in question. So that bank needs reform, that needs restructuring, and to ensure that we don't go back to, the situation we are incurring now. And also to ensure that we restore the independence of the Bank of Ghana. For now, the independence of the Bank of Ghana is actually in question.
And I'm looking at the operating income that the bank actually even put out there in this statement. They say the operating income of the bank and the group increased by 47.3% to 8.8 billion cedis. That's according to this 2023 report and financial statement. Now, I recall that we've had conversations where you have questioned the Bank of Ghana's use of the policy rate, and how as to whether it has achieved the objective for which they are pursuing this particular policy. And Toby Alfred, in his statement, also did indicate that maintaining a high interest rate environment that ensures that banks, including the Bank of Ghana itself, makes abnormal profits at the expense of the real sectors is not good central banking practice. The Bank of Ghana is saying that this increase in the income that they posted in their books was driven largely by fines imposed on institutions for regulatory breaches, and then also the bank's investment in security and bonds held abroad, and fees and charges as well. That legitimizes the concerns that yourself and Toby Alfred had put out earlier, is it not?
Yeah, that is the point we are making. That fees and charges, but some of them are very arbitrary. It's as if the Bank of Ghana, when it imposes something, nobody can question. So that environment still exists, and the central bank ought not to operate like that. There are areas they dare not go because of who is involved in it. So all these things affect revenue or improve revenue. So it is not true that they don't benefit from the higher policy rate. In fact, when they give support to the banks, they give the support at the policy rate. Therefore, when the policy rate is high, you benefit from it. But whatever is happening is two-edged sword. It increases the revenue by Bank of Ghana on one hand, and then increase their expenses and then truncate their efforts to make the bank sound. So it is something, the environment is just not good. They must work assiduously to create an environment that is conducive, to create an environment that is very accommodating, that treats all players in the market fairly, and then imposes fees and charges in a fair manner, and to stop arbitrary imposition of fees and charges.
Prof, so I'm just coming in here, listening to your explanations to the questions being asked. Do I get an understanding, as in summarizing what you said, that probably we're having a problem of a bank that is mismanaging its own resources, or just, having luxury spendings, and therefore we end up seeing these debts that are coming out in our reports?
Well, it is. I think we need to clarify this point before I go on. If you have a bank that has approved what each officer is qualified to receive when they do travel, you cannot today be questioning it because the officers benefit from that, unless you feel that that is not tenable in the industry they are operating in. Then we have a point. So we need to look at what has been approved by Bank of Ghana. Is it something that we appreciate for that level of bank? Of course, we need to also understand that people travel in commercial banks and then owned by government. Let us look at what is the rate that they give to them and what rate is given to the Bank of Ghana. Remember, the Bank of Ghana is a regulator. And the idea is that they need to be, catered very well so that when they go out to do their work, they are able to do their work without compromising. So that is one principle underlying what is approved to them.
But shouldn't it?
I do not. I do not know. I cannot tell the number of people who travel. Whether even all those people are part of the bank, I don't even know. So those are things that we need to check first.
Prof, you don't want to compromise their integrity, as it were, in the course of their work, but shouldn't whatever budget or expenditure you have be within your economic strength?
Of course, if there are procedures for going beyond your budget, and you need to follow the procedure. If you don't follow it, then you need to be questioned. So if they go beyond their travel budget, beyond a certain level, they need to be questioned. So they need to provide answers. We'll
have to end it here. Thank you very much. Professor John Gache there, giving his views on the latest report on the Bank of Ghana revealing some debts there. You're still here in Hot Edition. Coming up shortly is business news, and Bismarck Awusa is standing by with all the details you need. Stay with us.
Wow! My Lego ball is so cool!
Ready! Set! Go!
Calling all vendors, parents, guardians, expectant mothers and fathers. The 3FM Baby Fair is back. 3FM 92.7 presents the 3FM Baby Fair 2024. Your one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, and child development products for 3 exciting days on Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, and Sunday the 16th of June 2024 at the Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. Are you a vendor or dealer in children products or services, children educational materials, or anything related to children of all ages? Then you need to be at the 92.7 3FM Baby Fair. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your product and services, please call 0531
Calling all vendors
927 and 0532 200 927 right now. Parents, make it a family affair at the 3FM Baby Fair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. 3FM Baby Fair on the 14th June, 15th June, and 16th June 2024 at Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. 3FM Baby Fair is powered by 3FM, supported by TV3 and Marina Mall. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. 3FM Baby Fair is proudly sponsored by the First Bank Ghana, Cousins Baby, and Fidelity Bank.
Hello, Ghana. Are you tired of the same old political rhetoric? Do you believe it is time for a change that truly represents the voices of our youth, women, and children? I present to you Nana Kwame Bediako. He is a visionary leader with a passion for making our country better through innovative industrial revolution. Together, we can change the political narrative and create a government that truly represents the interest of all citizens. Join this journey to build a better and inclusive future for all by contributing to our Save Ghana Fund campaign. Your support, no matter the amount, is not just a donation. It is an investment in the shared desire for a more prosperous, equitable, and better nation. To donate, visit www.nkb.com.gh or dial *887 *2024 #. Thank you for your support.
Everyone is running to Bills. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with acquiring any of our loan facilities. For whoever you are and whatever you're doing, Bills has a product for you. No susu, no deposits. All you need is your Ghana card. Call 0302-200-390 or 0596-928-33 today and live a bill-free life. Bills Microcredit is licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition with me, Bismarck Awusa. Coming up, North Investment Holders Forum to resume picketing and Finance Ministry. Overfilled planned meeting with Ministry. We'll hear from convener Dr. Edu Anani Entry.
About the planned meeting, I myself sent a text message, one SMS and one through WhatsApp to the Deputy Minister, reminding him that we are still waiting for the meeting to be called. We still haven't received any response from the ministry, and therefore we are resuming the picketing this coming Wednesday, which is 5th June 2024. We do the picketing until we see that the Minister of Finance has made financial provision for the revocation of the licenses by the Bank of Ghana, which will let us be sure that we will get our money. That is what will take us from this picketing.
That was convener of the Locked-Up Investment Holders Forum, Dr. Edu Anani Entry, who is sharing his thoughts on the need to resolve to picketing at the Finance Ministry, which was earlier scheduled, but following a call from the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. Stephen Amoah. Now moving on, an economist and professor of finance at Gimpa Business School, Ebenezer Bugri Anafo, has raised concerns over the increasing price of cement. In 5 months of 2024, the price of the product has increased 3 consecutive times to reach 109 cedis 62 pesos. Speaking to 3 Business, Professor Ebenezer Anafo said this could serve as a disincentive to investing in real sector.
All those who are working in that sector are likely going to suffer job losses in some way. And the question now is, those who are going to lose their jobs as a result of this, how are they going to support their families? And it will also deter people in terms of investing in the real estate industry. A lot of people might not want to go in because of this increase in the cement prices. So it's going to actually affect investment in that sector, investor confidence in that sector, and it's going to negatively affect economic growth this year. So it is something that as a country we need to do something to see if there's a way that we can find a policy that can reduce the cement prices. There are a lot of consequences, but just to mention but a few.
And that was economist and professor of finance at Gimpa Business School, Professor Ebenezer Bugri Anafo. Now, consumer advocacy group CATS International has jumped to the defense of the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission, PURC, over tariff increments set to take effect on July 1. The Commission's latest announcement of the increment has been opposed by consumers who say the move is unfair, judging from the service being provided. But speaking to 3 Business, Regional Director of CATS International, Apia Kusi Adumako, said the PURC is economically justified. We will bring you that sound later, and that will be all for the business segment on Hot Edition with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please log on to 3news.com. Thanks for your company.
Wow! My Lego ball is so cool!
Ready, set, go!
Calling all vendors, parents, guardians, expectant mothers and fathers. The 3FM Baby Fair is back. 3FM 92.7 presents the 3FM Baby Fair 2024. Your one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, and child development products for 3 exciting days on Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, and Sunday the 16th of June 2024 at the Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. Are you a vendor or dealer in children products or services, children educational materials, or anything related to children of all ages? Then you need to be at the 92.7 3FM Baby Fair. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your product and services, please call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 right now. Parents, make it a family affair at the 3FM Baby Fair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. 3FM Baby Fair on the 14th June, 15th June, and 16th June 2024 at Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. 3FM Baby Fair is powered by 3FM, supported by TV3 and Marina Mall. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. 3FM Baby Fair is proudly sponsored by the First Bank Ghana, Cousins Baby, and Fidelity Bank.
Well, it's time for Sports on Hot Edition. My name is Kelvin Owusu, and to start with the story breaking, and Kylian Mbappe has agreed a free transfer to play for Real Madrid, and this was announced a few minutes ago by Real Madrid in the official communication, saying that they have completed the signing of the French forward, who is 25 years. Mbappe won the World Cup with France in 2018, placed second in the year 2022, and is expected to sign a 5-year contract worth £166 million going into his pocket, because Paris Saint-Germain bought him for the same amount. Well, but initially he's going to earn £25 million from Real Madrid before any other decisions are made by the Spanish club. So there will be a lot more tomorrow morning when I come your way on that is Sunrise Sports. So now let's continue with stories from the Ghana Premier League. And Summer Test coach Nuruddin Amadou says they are delighted to win the Ghana Premier League, but they will be looking forward to getting things better going forward in the Africa Club competitions.
It was full of joy, delight, celebration. The cacophony was just unimaginable. The celebration because I unexpected. I was sure my life is battle relegation. All of a sudden, the second time in the league, the second season was my ability, and that is a very, very remarkable achievement for a park.
So that is from Nuruddin Amadou. He's the head coach of FC Summertex. They have won the Ghana Premier League for the first time in the club's history. Now let's move on and talk about Chelsea. And they have announced the appointment of Enzo Maresca as the new head coach of the men's team. The Italian will begin his new role on the 1st of July 2024 on a 5-year contract with a club option of a further year. Now, Lauren Stewart and Paul Winstanley, Chelsea's co-sporting directors revealed that they are delighted to welcome Enzo to Chelsea, while Maresca also revealed to join Chelsea, one of the biggest clubs in the world, is a dream for any coach. It is why I am so excited by this opportunity. So that is it there from Enzo Maresca speaking about his new role at Chelsea. Now to his player that he's going to work with, that is Cole Palmer, and he has reflected on a very perfect season, scoring more than 20 times in all appearances.
Levi, probably. I remember on my first day when I went to the changing room, I didn't have a clue where to go or what to do. I thought the building was proper confusing and everything, but Levi showed me around and helped me, so I'd probably say Levi. My toughest moment in the season was losing in the Carabao Cup final. Probably should have won, and to lose in the last minute of extra time just felt like everything went to waste.
That is from Cole Palmer, who is going to work with Chelsea's new coach Enzo Maresca. Now staying in England, is going to be a very special time ahead of the European Championship. But Kieran Trippier discusses captain in England this evening as they play against Bosnia-Herzegovina at the St. James Park in a friendly match.
It's going to be very special, obviously, at the stadium. Obviously, that I play out week in, week out, and again, I've got to thank Gareth again for giving me that trust. And but for me, it's if I have the armband or not, if I play or not, I'm always there. I'm always ready for the team. And
well, so that is it there from Kieran Trippier. He says he is always ready and very much available for the rest of the team. Now let's take a look at the women's singles in the French Open. Jasmine Paolini ensured a victory over Elena Vanessian 6-4, 0-6, 1-6. Ended for Jasmine Paolini. Now Elena Rybakina defeated Elena Svitolina 6-4, 6-3, and she says she's very happy with her form going into the next round.
Well, of course, the goal is always to win, and but still, I'm focusing match by match. Now I just saw that Jasmine won, so I'm just preparing for that match for now. Yeah, I'm trying to come to the net more often. Of course, I think that's. For now, I think I'm playing really good. As I was saying in previous press conference, I was struggling with sleep, some health issues. I think still in the past few weeks I lost a little bit physiques, lost a bit of weight, but more or less I'm confident and feeling great and happy that I was managing to finish the matches also in 2 sets.
So that is Elena Rybakina ensuring another victory over Elena Svitolina. Well, very good game it was. Now there are other results, and Arina Sabalenka ensured a 6-2, 6-3 victory over Emma Navarro in their round of 16, and Mira Andreeva ensured a 7-5 6-2 says victory over Varvara Gracheva. In the men's, Alex de Minaur ensured a very fantastic comeback against Daniel Medvedev, who was injured after the first set. 6-4, 6-2, 6-1, and then 6-3. It ended for Alex de Minaur. Now, Novak Djokovic currently playing against Francesco Cerundolo, won number 3. And Djokovic won the first set, but Cerundolo won the second as 7-5 and then 6-3. Djokovic came back strongly to win the fourth set, 7-5. We are into the final set of the French Open round of 16, and Novak Djokovic is currently leading 2-love against Francisco Cerundolo. Now, Taylor Fritz also playing against Casper Ruud, and Casper Ruud has already won the first set, 7-6. Later on, Alexander Zverev, the German, plays against the Danish Holger Rune. That is at 6:50. So expecting some very crunch games in there. Djokovic clearly cementing his position as one of the greatest when it comes to the the history of the competition. But Borussia Dortmund boss Edin Terzic has been speaking about the difficulties of handling this team, but he continues to give credit to all those who have helped to bring this team to this level.
Yeah, just proud. I'm very proud of my team, my staff, and our supporters. It's an incredible achievement for us, and we keep the dream possible. And now it's time to make it happen. Also, so we only won it once. It was 1997. I was watching the game in the public viewing. Then in the final 2013, I've been on the stands supporting the team. But don't get me wrong, many people out there, they are just reflecting me as a supporter. Now I'm the coach of the team and I'm responsible for the performances, and now it's such a proud moment for all of us, because this is something that nobody gave to us. We deserved it really well. To win both games in the semi-final is something that is really incredible, and then against a team like PSG, we did it twice. We kept 2 times a clean sheet against PSG. It's unbelievable, and it makes us dreaming.
Making them dream and dream all over again. We'll continue to dream and see you tomorrow morning. My name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. Hot Edition continues.
And you're still here on Hot Edition on Shri FM 92.7. Thank you very much, Kelvin Owusu-Ansah, for bringing us the latest in sports. Now, we'll bring you a campaign trail very shortly, but ahead of that, Ghanaian movie actor Kwadwo Ocansey, popularly known as Lil Wayne, has been charged with dangerous driving and negligently causing harm after his arrest in connection with a fatal accident at Amakom in Kumasi. The popular Ghanaian actor was sent to the Asokore-Mampong District Court amidst tight security. Ibrahim Abubakar followed from the hospital to the police station and court, and reports.
Shortly after he was discharged from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital on Monday morning, Lil Wayne was arrested by the Menchia Divisional Police Command over his involvement in an accident that claimed the life of a 3-year-old on May 25. The 37-year-old actor was in neck brace and could barely walk when he was discharged, but the police whisked him away in their van. His statement was taken in the presence of his legal representative before being sent to the Ashanti Regional Police Headquarters, where his charges were formalized and processed to court. At the Asokore-Mampong District Court, security had been beefed up before Lil Wayne's arrival. His plea was not taken after the facts on the charge sheet were read to him. Counsel for the popular actor, Margaret Mary J. Chum, pleaded for a bail for her client, citing his health status. Prosecution did not oppose to the bail request, but wanted the suspect, as part of the bail conditions, to report to the police once every week to assist with investigation. The judge, Boabin Kwanzaa, declined the prosecution's request and granted a bail condition of 50,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties to the suspect to reappear in court in 4 weeks' time in a bid to allow for the suspect to recover.
You saw the condition of my client. He's not even too well, but we have to respect the law. In fact, we were bulldozed here. We didn't come on our own. Fortunately, his statement was taken today, and the courts just saw how he is now. So bail was granted.
The actor was charged with dangerous driving and negligently causing harm. He has since been granted bail and will reappear at the Asquarim District Court on June 27.
Ibrahim Abubakar filed that report from the Ashanti region. Now, it's been exactly 9 years since 150 people died in Accra's twin disasters on June 3rd. Although memories are fading, for some, the scars of the tragedy remain deeply ingrained in their hearts. And Godwin Asidiba will be bringing us a report in our subsequent bulletins. You're still here on Hot Edition. Welcome to Campaign Trail. On Campaign Trail tonight, founder and leader of the Movement for Change, Alan Tremanting, has emphasized the need for an export production strategy to revamp the struggling economy. He seized the opportunity to propose solutions during his tour of the Eastern region. Now, he also engaged with traditional leaders, clergy and traders in local market. Let's listen to him.
Current Vice President and myself. If you are auditing our records, not in politics, outside politics and inside politics, if you are auditing our records, between myself, my brother John Mahama, and then Vice President Bauna, there will be no challenger. Allah will be your Please don't be deceived. You are looking for somebody who has a proven and demonstrated record of performance. Please, it is not politics that made Allah. That's what I want to explain to you. If you can only train.
And you heard leader of the Movement for Change, Alan Kwejo Tremanting. Still on politics, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says his government will implement an e-gate system at the Kotoka International Airport before the close of this year. During a meeting with the clergy in Cape Coast, the flag bearer of the NPP said that the new system will eliminate the need for travellers to go through immigration checks at the arrival hall of the airport.
Under my administration, the application for passport is going to be very easy. If you have a Ghana card, just go and pay your money and the passport will be printed for you. You don't need to go and fill a card anymore, because all the information on the Ghana card is on the passport. All the information. So we don't have to do double work. Simple. Just go and pay your fee and they'll print it for you. It's very, very simple. We will demystify it. In fact, before the end of this year, if you arrive in Ghana at Kotoka Airport, You don't even need to go to an immigration officer. We are putting together the e-gates. You put your Ghana card, it will open for you, and you pass and enter. The e-gates will come into work in Ghana before the end of this year. In Ghana, before the end of this year.
You heard the flag bearer of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is also the current vice president of the country. We move to the camp of the NDC, and its flag bearer, John Mahama, is slamming the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government for superintending over worst road conditions in Ghana. Now, the former president says that major roads have deteriorated lately, worsening travel experiences for many Ghanaians. He was speaking at an event in Hamle to express condolences to the family of the late former Lambusia constituency chairman of the NDC, Zakaria Sana Dramani.
In the short space of 7.5 years, this country has been brought down to its knees. And we're dealing with a government that only believes in propaganda. They keep repeating the same thing, the same thing over and over again, so that people will believe that what they're saying is true. Hamile.
Former President John Mahama. Campaign trail, but before we go, there's some news coming in, and leadership of the unionized staff of the Intercity State Transport Company is currently in a meeting with management over a petition to prevent the appointment of a deputy managing director of operations. Kwabena Laboja is there. He joins us live on the line. Laboja, what can you report from the STC premises? And you're still here on Hot Edition. If you're just joining us, I just brought you some news from the STC office, where we understand that currently the leadership of the unionized staff of the Intercity State Transport Company is currently in a meeting with management over a petition to prevent the appointment of a deputy managing director in charge of operations. We understand that the staff refused to move buses today because of this incident, and we have our reporter there, Kwabena Laboja, who is following development at the place and will be joining us very shortly with the latest as soon as we have him. But as we try to connect to Laboja, let's bring you that report marking the anniversary of the June 3rd twin disasters some years ago. And we have Godwin Asiriba bringing us a report of that incident.
It has been 9 years of pain and grief. The tragedy on June 3rd left eternal scars on many, including 43-year-old Kasim Suraj, who has never been able to get his life back on track. Every year, he returns to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, the place where he lost his wife and 14-year-old son in the fire. He remains in critical condition 9 years after the incident. Despite undergoing over 20 plastic surgeries, he has still not fully recovered.
From 2015, based in them, that's so-called hospital.
Since 2015, I've been going to the hospital. It hasn't been an easy journey. I no longer have the strength to work as a commercial driver, and affording my medication has been difficult.
As
he recounts his trauma, tears roll down his cheeks.
Every June 3, memories of the wife and child I lost to the tragedy come flooding back. It makes me sad, and I can't help but cry.
It was a day of pain and grief for Charles Appiah and his 13-year-old daughter, Anne Appiah. Charles lost his wife in the disaster. Every year, he joins other victims to advocate for compensation.
I remember she told me she was here, and then she was actually struggling. She was smelling the scent of petrol. She was an asthmatic. So I said, you should come out from the place and then, look for a higher ground. Then that was all. I did not hear of her again.
Anne misses her mother deeply. Now 24, she still struggles with the absence of her mother in her life.
I miss the way, the advice she gives me. And then sometimes I used to go to the market, Mokola market with her. I used to go to church with her. She sings, I sing too. So that's the most things I miss about her.
I lost my penis. Is that easy? And you just started the penis.
One of the victims, Prince Kenneth Okoro, nearly lost his manhood in the tragedy. The incident led to his wife divorcing him as he could no longer fulfill his marital duties.
My penis, to do this plastic surgery. Second, after I burned, doctor told the government that I can't even function. But later, unfortunately, God did it to me. My wife, including, even left me. Ask all of them. My wife left me, said my penis, I can't even get down hard this thing.
A viral photo of a deceased woman holding her baby tightly to her chest after the floodwaters receded on that day left many people pouring their hearts out. Her husband is here 9 years after the incident to remember his wife and child.
I was at work when it started raining. When I got home, I couldn't find her. Later, I was told she had been found, but she was dead. I was traumatized.
In the meantime, Senior Hosi, a member of the civil society organization One Ghana Movement, affirms that the pursuit of justice for the victims of the June 3rd tragedy remains steadfast.
We've been called for 7 years out of this 9. We've made some progress. Witness statements have all been filed. We are hoping to have the hearing to take full steam in the coming months. A lot of that, their lives have all been destroyed. People have lost their parents, livelihoods and all. This was not an accident. It was negligence, willful negligence. So those who caused it must be held accountable, and those who have suffered for it must be effectively compensated.
The municipal chief executive for Kole Klote, Ni Ajetewia, joined the victims in laying wreaths to commemorate those who lost their lives.
We believe what is supposed to have been done had been done. But from the victims, they keep reminding us that there's a lot more that they would like to see. So
Godwin Asiriba with that report, and that's how we end the news here. Hot edition here on 3FM. My name is Beatrice. Thank you so much for joining us today. I did this with Alfred Ocansey. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good evening and do enjoy the rest of our programs.